Okay, so it's episode 4 of the Panther podcast, and the guest is none other than Craig Foley himself, the man, the myth, the legend.
Thank you. That's quite a introduction there, Alex.
Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm finishing at the end of this year my 17th year here at Frankfort. We've enjoyed every minute of it. During that time, I've been the health and PE teacher, is what I actually came over as. Dean of Students, athletic director, assistant principal, and football coach. Before that, I spent 1 year out at another school on the east side of Frankfort. And before that, I graduated and started at Bourbon County High School.
What do you like best about Frankfort High?
I guess it's the family atmosphere. You know, that's what we talk about all the time. We like to pride ourselves on family. I like the fact that I can walk down the hall and know every kid in the building. Pretty much, I can know every kid's name. And at this point, being here as long as I have, I feel like I almost know their family as well. So, if there's issues or concerns or anything like that, I can oftentimes reach out to a family member.
You like yelling at kids too, don't you?
No, I never like yelling at kids. I like talking with kids.
Oh, it's football players. I like to yell at them.
I like to talk and explain myself.
So what do you think about this whole coronavirus thing? Do you know what's going on with the school?
I don't know what's going on yet. I know there's a meeting today at 4:30. They're going to discuss some things. There's some rumors out there right now. It is what it is. We can only control what we can control, and I think a lot of people are overreacting. I think the elderly are the ones we need to be concerned with, and obviously youth, because we've got to teach you all proper hygiene, those types of things, so that you don't take situations or illnesses or problems into the elderly's environment.
So, what do you think, like I heard about NTI days, what do you think those would consist of other than just working on projects? How would you handle focus areas?
Well, we're trying to work on that right now. That's still to be determined. Mr. Reed and I and Mr. Rogers and Ms. Boggs and a few other people are having these conversations. The counselors, Ms. Richardson, Ms. Harley, we're all kind of talking back and forth about multiple ways to do that. There's possibility of stopping the line. There's possibility of, opening focus areas up. There's possibilities of students coming in to take focus areas. But all that's to be determined on whether or not we can be in the facility if things are closed down. So there's a lot of unanswered questions. Those are good questions. Answers we don't know just yet, but hopefully we will know in the next couple of days.
So I've heard stuff like pushing back spring break or bringing it up or like just adding another week. So do you know any idea about that?
I've heard the same things you've heard. Hopefully at 4:30 today, about 5 o'clock by then, we should have all those answers, or at least hopefully have a better understanding of what the opportunities are.
So what do you think about the football team this coming year?
I'm excited. We've got a lot of youth that got a lot of valuable experience this year. They've been working really hard in the weight room. We're averaging good numbers for us. There's probably 3 or 4 kids who are unaccounted for that it will reflect back on how things go when the fall rolls around. But we've just finished our schedule. We've got a tough schedule, tougher than I would have anticipated, but I had trouble finding games. So we've got the state champion. We're playing them this year in Class A, Pikeville. We're not sure if we're going there. They're coming here yet. Trying to get them to come here. We've only got 3 home games at this point, so it's going to be a push to try to get our bowl game, homecoming, senior night, all that stuff packed into a short little period. But we're excited about it. I think the success that the basketball team's had, once you start having success breeds success in other sports. So hopefully that'll roll over into some of the football players, and the soccer kids can benefit from it, and all the way across the board.
So, what is the dean of students like? What do you do?
What did I do when I was the dean of students?
Yeah, what did you do?
It's a lot the same. Different places, different responsibilities. Here at Frankfort, when I was the dean and when I became the assistant principal, the principals at that time preferred me to focus on student culture, student discipline, most of that stuff. They handled most of the academic side of things, and I've taken care of the other side. So, anything relating to the students, basically, I've kind of dealt with. Obviously, like I said, the majority of the discipline issues, just the climate in the building, some of those types of things. That was one of my big projects, was trying to gauge the climate and culture of the building when I first started, and then improving that along the way.
So how do you do that stuff now?
It's a challenge. Again, I've grown in how I've handled some of the discipline issues. It used to be when you came in, I was just going to nail you to the cross and crucify you, but I understand now that that's not the best way to do things, and each kid's a little different, and while that's not fair, it's not always equal as well. Kids will be handled kind of on a case-by-case basis, unless it's something crazy severe. But each kid's different. Each person's a little different. Each home life's a little different, so we try to take that into consideration. I guess it's one thing Mr. Lyons, he kind of pushed on me and taught me and helped me out to understand some of that along the way, that you've got to be a little more caring, I guess is the right word, a little more sensitive to some students' issues and what's going on and how you handle things.
Who's your favorite student, son?
Who's my favorite student?
I already know it's me, but...
Well, let's see. Since it's you, I'd have to go to number 2. I don't have a favorite. I mean, all you all are equal in your rank. There may be some a little higher, but I enjoy all the students. Am I ever sad to see a class leave? No, because they're always replaceable. And I know students hate to hear that, but everybody's replaceable. Just as some adults, you're replaceable too. But it's just a joy to each August to see another crew coming in and get to work with them and try to start to mold them to be young adults.
What's your favorite class right now?
What's my favorite class? I'm a physical education teacher.
No,
Come on, man.
Class of your class.
Oh, graduating class. Probably the class of 1990, since I graduated in high school in that class. So other than that, I don't have a true favorite class. Let me take that back. I'll say the class of 2020, but not necessarily Frankfurt Highs. Just because I'm going to say my daughter at Western Hills and my daughter at Anderson County are both graduating this year. So the class of 2020.
One.
That was Alec.
So, what else do you think we could do to improve on other things in the school?
I think we've still got to get student buy-in across the board. I love the way our school spirit's coming back. We had great school spirit my first few years here. Then it kind of dwindled away, but I like the passion that's coming back. I think we've got to curb some of that still and know what's appropriate and what's not. I wish we could get more students take more pride in some of the things going on in the building. With society today and social media and all that kind of stuff, I don't like where that's going. I don't like where kids are going with it. I don't know. I don't think they understand the severity that goes along with that and what'll be a footprint down the road. I think everybody believes, well, I've deleted it, it's gone, and we all know that's not the case. It's still out there in cyber world somewhere. So I wish we could improve upon that. But other than that, I like where we're at. I mean, I like that where our numbers are growing. We should be up another 20, 30, 40 students potentially next year, so I'm really excited about that. It brings a whole other set of problems into the fold with administrative side of stuff, but I guess if we could continue to work on anything, it'd be get our numbers up and continue the school pride, but improve our social media presence from a student perspective.
That's what I try to do with the students. I try to keep things more tame. Because
Yeah,
I know I can get rowdy, but
I've noticed that.
I try to keep things more tame than what other people think.
I do. I appreciate the tameness that you bring to the student section.
We still get a little rowdy, but you can be a little rowdy as long as
you can always be a little rowdy. As long as it's a controlled rowdiness, that's all good.
So what do you think what other traditions that you've seen, when you...
Traditions at Frankfurt
that you want to bring in or that you see that you really like?
I wish we could do more. I've only seen it. I've seen it other places. I've read about it being at Frankfurt, but do more family team bonding dinners throughout the year at different times. I know that's an odd sounding tradition. I wish we could do more, I guess, school-wide field trips as traditions. Yeah. My first few years here, and I know Dr. Barber's talked about it, but we went to Washington, D.C. for the inaugurations. I'm not a history person. I'm not a fan of it. Just never have been. But that was something I really enjoyed. I enjoyed all the museums we went to. I wish we could bring those things back. I think we need to tweak some of the traditions that we're keeping. I think they've gone a little array and kind of got a little out of hand, hence Cry Day has gone a little wild. I'd like to reel it back in a little bit. But, I love our first day popsicles on the line. I love our homecoming traditions, both fall and winter. I love our seniors and their opportunities in the spring to get to go out and do a bunch of different things. You just don't see that in a lot of other places. I enjoy our fall breaks, our spring break, our winter break, even our short summer break. I enjoy those types of things, and those are some things that have kept me here over the years too.
I really like the homecoming parade. I really haven't seen that anywhere else.
No,
I haven't heard of it anywhere else.
Not to the extreme, yes.
Yeah, because the whole town's kind of a part of it.
They are, and I wish we could get our downtown community back involved a little more. I think it's starting to come back again. I think it dwindled. Now it's coming back just from your all's enthusiasm and excitement. It's bringing them back. But yeah, other places do it, but they don't do it like we did.
So, what's some other things that you'd like to talk about?
I'm open to whatever. I mean, you tell me what we want to talk about. The blooms on the tree so early, the summit learning, the fact that you all just love that, traditional. I mean, it's whatever. I'm game for anything.
So Summit, do you think there could be any improvements of what we do with it?
I think there could be. I think there's still tweaks that they're making along the way. There's still things that the staff is learning. And honestly, I'm probably the least knowledgeable Summit person in the building because in my role, I don't deal with it a lot. I'm not in the classroom dealing with Summit. I'm not a student taking the Summit classes. Mr. Rogers does a lot of the monitoring. He and Miss Boggs, with Mr. Reed now doing a lot of that. So I wish I was more knowledgeable about it, and I'm sure there's plenty of stuff out there that can be improved upon. And I know the trainings that we have, they focus on a lot of those things. We were supposed to go to a training in Baltimore in April that's been canceled with everything going on, and I'm disappointed in that because I think it would have been good for me. I would have learned a few things. With our summit, I wish there was a way that we could figure out how to implement the dual credit along with it maybe. I'm not sure that that's even possible, but I would love to see maybe those two entities work together and try to come up with something.
So I talked to the counselors, and they said something about that too. Or we've discussed that a little bit. I don't really know if that could be that could happen, or like the credits, or how that would work with the K-State and then Summit. And honestly, I don't know if that would work.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I know, and maybe Mr. Lyons' new role once he left here, I think that's a little bit of something that he might be able to try to tackle as well statewide and see if it's something that can go along the ways. But I'm not sure. I love the fact that we have all the dual credit opportunities. Like I said, I've got daughters at 2 different districts. They're taking dual credit classes, and they're not provided the same price that we provide our students here. So that's another big thing that I really enjoy.
Yeah, that's interesting about us because we just do all these classes for free, and you can get your associate's degree for free, which is weird and crazy.
Oh, it's nuts. I'm excited to see. I think this is the first year we'll have somebody walk with their associates and get their high school. Yes.
Will's doing that this year, and it's weird because you just see AP classes that are maybe 1 or 2 dual credits that aren't really anything big, maybe just math or something.
Right.
And it's just weird because we have dual credit music and psychology and all these weird classes,
and
we're
it's
getting
awesome.
even more.
And our students have the opportunity to go to the next level and already have a year under their belt. Now, they don't have the college experience under their belt, but they've got the semester classes or the year-long class, or the credits out of the way. And financially, as a parent, that's lovely. On the flip side, I don't know if I'm ready for, a daughter to graduate college at the age of 21 potentially and get out in the real world, because the real world, it's no joke. Bills are real. Everything's for real at that point. So I hope that they can figure something out to where they can stay in a year or 2 longer as well. But I enjoy the process behind it all.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Where you take one thing, take it up, there's something else comes. You actually go in the real world really fast after that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you graduate here with 30 college hours, that's a freshman semester, a year out of the way. You finish up in 3 more years, and now you're in the real world. Real bills, real expenses, real consequences.
No, I'll pass on that. So, what do you think? is the best route to deal with the whole coronavirus thing for the school?
That's tough. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, it's a tough question. It's just,
it is. It's, because we still are so uneducated on the whole virus itself. We know the transition or the transmission of it and those types of things, but is quarantine really going to work? How do you know that's going to work? Is being away, social distance? It's a big buzzword right now. How is that really working? And if school is closed down, does that mean that kids still aren't going to meet up downtown and run around and you're not staying away from each other then? So there's a lot of those things that we're not sure about just yet. I think schools have to be precautious, but I think right now we're jumping the gun. That's my honest opinion on it. But, we've got to do what we think's best in the big scheme of things. And if this is why the people above think that's what we need to do, then I'll support it 100%.
Yeah, I think we're kind of like jumping on it a little bit too fast too, because like it's kind of messing up other stuff too. Like the play, it was supposed to be next week, start next week, and if we don't have school next week and we can't be in the school, then
right,
we have to push it back until the end of spring break, or the beginning of next, like the third semester,
yeah,
fourth.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know what is going to come out of all this. And you're talking about the play and extracurricular. You've got all the athletic events going on, and who knows what's going to happen with them? Will they have spring sports? Will they not have spring sports? Will they condense the season? Will they push it back? Well, I mean, what are they going to do? And people going on vacation over spring break. Who says Disney's going to be open? Who says this place is going to be open? Nobody knows. I really think people are jumping the gun on it, but I guess for safety issues, you got to think that way. But I don't know. It's going to be real interesting.
At least plane tickets prices have dropped.
Oh, like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, really, really cheap right now.
We were looking at places, and you can get like a $29 round flight to Peru.
Yeah.
Not Peru, to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
It's a Costa Rica $29 flight.
It's
round
nuts.
flight.
It's
and
crazy.
And then all you have to worry about is the hotel, and that's like not that expensive.
They're going to want people in their facilities so badly that they're going to make prices.
Drop.
It's going to be crazy. You just have to take a chance on going.
Yeah, which can be a good thing if you're driving somewhere.
Oh, right.
But now that my family already paid for Disney, that's kind of another good thing.
Right.
We pay the full extent while these other families just going for.
Oh, yeah.
Just probably half the price that we're doing.
We've got plane tickets for somewhere right now, and who says that we're even going to be able to do that? We may have to eat them because we didn't get the insurance on it. And it is what it is, though. We'll be fine. We'll just our health is the main issue, main thing at stake right now.
That's what I'm worried about. And even if I get it, I'm not. Oh well, that's not really a big fatality rate, or no one. It hasn't affected anyone under 27. It's just older people in my family, people
Right.
who don't have the immune system for it. That's the big thing.
Our grandparents, anybody with the breathing problems, those types of things. We've got to make sure we're aware of them and keep our hygiene and all that good stuff.
So, after all this, what do you think that we can learn from it in the future?
If I had a crystal ball and could look ahead, I would hope that it would be that we don't jump the gun, making rash decisions too quick, that we are more proactive when things are starting to break out in other areas and not wait until they're here and then start trying to be proactive when it's too late. I think if the United States had really became real proactive when things were really starting to explode overseas, and maybe we could have been ahead of it and prevented some of this and been ready for the quarantines and all those other types of things going on. But I hope we just learn we can be more proactive and let's not jump the gun and make quick rash decisions until we know all the information involved.
That would be smart, because there's a lot of things that we could have been proactive about, like how we're treating our like nature, like how we're treating that. It's like we just kind of like threw that out the window.
Oh yeah.
And so like we're kind of like trying to pick the pieces up now, and it's kind of too late or getting too late.
No, I agree.
And big companies like Apple, where they just dig holes in Africa and just throw their phones in there and burn it and cover it up. That's not helping at all. It's going to make things worse.
Yeah. It's going to be real interesting to see what comes out of it. They say every big thing that happens, there's something that comes out of it. So what is going to come out of this? What's it going to be? So, I guess we'll find out months or year down the road, potentially.
Hopefully it's not anything too bad.
Right.
But you never know.
No,
You just got to be prepared for everything.
Exactly.
So what do you think so after this year, we have quite a few seniors next year.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going to happen for football? Do you think we're going to lose a lot of good talent, or?
No, we're young across the board. I mean, my freshman class is our biggest class. I think I've got 11 or 12 in there, and there'll be sophomores next year. So then after that, there'll be the juniors, and I've got a decent little incoming freshman class. Then there's a nice, will be 8th grade class next year, which then after that will be an incoming freshman group. So I don't think it's going to go very far. If we can keep having some success and this school keeps doing what the school is doing, we'll draw bodies in. And as we draw bodies in, we'll draw athletes in as well. So they each play off of each other. So if we can have a successful school year and keep our scores where they're at and improve and some of those types of things, and it'll only increase the athletic success that all of our teams have as well.
So do you think that, is there any other way to bring people in who haven't played?
It's just got to be active recruitment. And it's the kids. When I say recruitment, I mean walking our hallways and our current players talking to kids and trying to get them to come out. It's got to be fun. Things have changed. We've got to promote the students, the student athletes that much more. All those different things. It's got to be fun again. I think there for a couple of years, and it's reflecting on where I was at that time too. Things were just not fun for a while, and I think we're getting back to where it's fun. Of course, winning always makes everything a little more fun. So as we can do that and make sure that all of our student athletes know that we're here for them. It's not about winning and losing so much as it is about helping a young student athlete grow one way or the other. And the old cliche, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, I think is a big part of that. And relationships, that's a big thing that I'm really trying to work on for the near future, is stronger relationships with my players so that they can come to me at any time about anything, and I'm here to help them.
So we're out of time. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm disappointed it took so long for you to get to me. Just kidding.
Sorry.
You're fine.
All right, this is the 4th episode of the Panther podcast, and yeah, it's done.